Lloyd Vehicle Consulting. Still not sponsored by Lancaster Insurance. Maybe one day. Good morning. Today is the 11th of November and welcome once again to the NEC in Birmingham for the 2023 NEC Classic Motor Show, sponsored by Lancaster Insurance. This is part 9 of the slightly shambolic shuffle, and I do apologise in advance if I fall over, if I get things wrong, which happens all the time, if I get interrupted by announcements. It's generally a terrible video. I'm afraid it's just the way that it goes on this channel. So we'll probably be starting today in halls 1 and 2. We'll see if we can get around hall 3 today as well, which is not the order I normally film things in, but it will result in less walking for me. We also missed a couple of cars, one I think particular one in hall 2, which we'll correct today, and then a few in hall number 8. We'll have to go and look at those probably tomorrow when we sort of wrap up and just see if there's anything else we missed. But anyway, that's quite enough, and we shall get going. Right viewers, here we are, just descending into hall 1. Prominent Lancaster Insurance branding, who of course do not sponsor my channel. Maybe one day. So we're going to have a look at this Journey Through Time exhibit. This is avocado colour Rover SD1 that's just here. It is very busy today, I do apologise. It's interesting. This one, my gosh, this has been in so many shows, so many channels, all sorts of things. Forget now whether it's a 77 or a 78, it just actually says 1970s. But we don't like to be so vague about such things, do we, viewers? Typical interior of the time. As you can see, sort of beige, not a leather interior. I'm not sure you could get a leather interior actually on a pre-facelift SD1 like this. Yes, I'd rather classic, of course, and we can hear some VGs in the background. Problem is with that is that it tends to result in copyright infringement. So yeah, 2600 with the straight 6 engine. Then we've got an E-Type. If that's a 67, then that'll be a 4.2. Classic Series 1 Roadster with covered headlamps. The one that I drove on the channel in 2020 was not a Roadster. It was a 2+2 coupe from 66, although same engine, same colour. There we go. Robert Kenneth Beecham. Yeah, that dash is very familiar. Lucky track as well. Very nice. And then John Newey has brought his MG X-Power SVR. John Newey is the co-proprietor of the Summit Garage in Dudley, where we've done a lot of filming with MGs in the past. Not this one. I don't actually even know if he'd let me have a go in this, to be honest. It is quite something. The SVR, I think this is either a 2004 or 2005 from memory. The SVR is a more powerful version of the SV. Got a V8 engine supplied by Ford. Not many of these were made. It's something like 80. I forget exactly now. So SVR was 50, then there was more SVs made. Very nice car, absolute sort of colour I would choose if I had one of these. So 1990s Ford Fiesta. Did the Nokia 3310 come out in 1999 or 2000? I thought it was 2000. Certainly the Game Boy came out, I think, 89. Anyway, but it's a car channel, not an electronics channel. It's an XR 1.3. This car's been modified, isn't it? They never made an XR 1.3. Not as far as I know, anyway. So 92, 93 on a K. It's got the sort of posher dash in this one. So what exactly has happened to this car? Oh, there we go. That's really crazy. It's a sort of custom. It's got bits on it from 3 Mark III Fiestas. So that's why it's all a bit weird. Yeah. I never thought I'd see like a sort of heavily modified one like this on the stand, but it doesn't matter, does it? So which decade is this supposed to represent? We have the 70s and the 60s. Oh, it's an Austin-Healey Sprite. It might actually just be an Austin Sprite, this one. So the very late ones were just Austin Sprites.
Competition going on to win it.
I've driven an MG midget of this era and I couldn't fit in it, so that was a bit of a problem.
Well, I can't fit it either.
So yeah, that's not actually on this decade. That's still something you can win if you can fit in it. I barely got in the midget when I drove it 2 years ago. 1940s, Austin-Healey 90 Atlantic. So this came out in 48. I see delivery starting in 49. This is probably a slightly later one. It's got a 51 tax disc, so I imagine it's probably a 50 or a 51, but it doesn't matter, does it? Beautiful condition. Very, very, very attractive car. Unfortunately, an absolute sales disaster in America. Just didn't get on with it at all, which is a real shame because they worked really hard to make this a beautiful car. We've got some Cosworth action here, haven't we? Was it an 89? Okay, so this is a really early Sapphire Cosworth though. Handy Ford, yeah, local Ford dealer to where I'm from, which is down in Hampshire. Big site, very, very near where I live in Eastleigh. OR, which is a Portsmouth area plate, but from 1974. Portsmouth and Southampton were one registration area, so you sort of see both of them used in that area, but one of the local plates I grew up with. And quite heavily modified, this one, even more than the standard. I think it was 204 horsepower these produced. And then we've got, again from the 50s, a Traction Avant. What exact year this is? They made these until 1957. They started about, I think 1934 these started. So a very, very long production run for these. And the engines in these lasted for a lot longer as well than the DS and its derivatives. If you're in Seabrook, of course, this is the kind of absolute zenith of what you like. But for me, it's not quite my kind of thing, but I very much respect cars like this. One stand I can never resist at the NEC Classic Motor Show is the Maguires stand. It's always in Hall 1, it's always massive, and it's always got a very high quality of exhibits. 1995 Subaru Impreza WRX STI 555. It's about as classic as it gets in terms of 90s rallying. Even got a Colin McRae tribute in the window there. Classic Subaru colour for the 555 racing team, gold wheels, little pink badge, wonderful. Then we've got a Triumph TR5, yes. 68 Triumph TR5, absolutely immaculate. Sort of roast cell type wheels on this rather than the wires. From the TR register, that is ever so nice. 1957 Chevy truck, obviously heavily modified. Like everything else, completely immaculate. Not the sort of thing that I know much about, but very nice. Let's have a look at the back of the Impreza whilst we're here. Gosh, even the sort of graphics and things like that are absolutely kind of spot on. Wow, registration number N555 wax, and look at that, it's actually got the STI full name there. Crazy. And then we've got a Beetle with some modifications. Obviously the owner's very proud of it. We've got mirrors as well. 1954 Volkswagen Beetle from the Volkswagen show. Is that the washer fluid? There's a bottle at the front. Interesting. And then lovely, lovely Jaguar. There's quite a lot of variety actually here. I think I've seen my favourite car already, but we won't right now. 1950 Jaguar XK120 in a very attractive sort of shade, cream hood and everything. Again, just perfect. It looks to me like a Ferrari 328. Yes, it is. And 1989. And what club this is from? The Ferrari Owners Club of Great Britain. That makes sense. 89 328 GTS. If we look round the other side, I'm sure we'll see the interior colour, which meets with my approval very much. A beige leather interior, of course, and a gated manual gearbox. Wonderful. And we kind of a look at the back of a couple of British cars. 65 Mark 1 Morris Mini Cooper S, and then viewers, MG Maestro Turbo. Very nice. I mean, the ultimate Maestro is of course a Van Pla, but the MG Turbo will do very nicely indeed. 152 horsepower, and this way more than an Escort RS Turbo. It is an 89. I don't know the owner of this. Craig Rumbelow isn't the owner. These are worth a lot of money now. They're in excess of £10,000. This one's probably far more than that. And then we've got some Austin Rover dealer plates, even though Austin Rover was actually dissolved before this car was made. You see the logos around, and I think the logo survived on the tail lights of the Land Rover Discovery until 1998 because they were the same as the Maestro van. 1994 Mercedes-Benz E220 Coupe. This is the C124 shape. Quite late for one of these. I think the last year was about 95, 96 for these. I've driven a very similar one that was an earlier one, 93, that looks a bit different from this, before they were called the E-Class. But that is extraordinary. I wonder if you actually got air conditioning in that one. I can't work out if you did. So sometimes you didn't actually. They were a bit mean with all the options and things. But that is rather nice. And then we've got an E46 BMW M3 from 2003. BMW Car Club of Great Britain. I mean, I see a lot of very, very nice E46s at shows I attend, but that one is on an entirely different level. Every detail is totally perfect. I prefer, though, this Jaguar XJ 4.2C. Same body shell as the one that was used in the new Avengers for Big Cat. Obviously that was modified by Broadspeed. This is a more standard model, but I mean, how can you resist something like this? Absolutely and utterly amazing. Say 77. A winner at the Coventry Concours. We like that very, very much, viewers. 1955 MGA EX 182 Le Mans from the MG Car Club, and by Mark Tossell, I think you pronounce that. Again, I see a lot of MGAs make the shows, but I've never seen one like this. Not only is it an incredibly rare variant, it's just perfect. And we can see there are people from Maguires busily polishing the cars all the time, making them look their best. So whatever time you arrive at the show, then see them in the best condition. Look at this bay window Volkswagen. Side there, complete with the picnic set and everything. Original right-hand drive, so very valuable. 72 Danbury conversion from the Leicestershire Warwickshire VW Owners Club. And then this is owned by my friend Dan. 1983 Ford Capri 2-litre S. It's not completely perfect. There are a couple of marks on it which you can't see on video, and it's more bronzy colour really in real life than it looks on camera. But this is absolutely amazing. Original plates, original wheels, got the original invoice there in the side. A lot of people of course crowding around this car because who doesn't love a lovely Ford Capri? But that is really, really nice. This Mercedes is having a sort of before and after treatment. You see before on one side and after. Not an immaculate car burn, it's actually imagination. We've got stone chips and things on this, but that is quite an improvement. This generation of VSL is actually at the moment quite sort of undervalued in my opinion. You have a lot of problems and things, but maybe in the future they'll start going up. So that's the lovely Maguires stand. We'll move on to another very immaculate load of cars on the Midland Auto Club and Shelsley Walsh stand here. We've got it's a Gould GR55B. I don't know much about the single seats, I'm afraid, viewers, but I do know that this is a Sierra Cosworth. Is it the 500? No, it's not. It's only marginally less valuable than those. This will be an 87 on an E. And it is very nice. Make sure you don't damage something like that, because that would be, well, a shame. Moonstone blue, of course. And then we've got something altogether much, much older, which is 1939 SS100 Jaguar. One of the last models made before the war. Unfortunately, during the war, SS became a little bit of a problem as a name, and so they just called them a Jaguar. Whatever it's called, that is a very, very attractive car. Looks down the road, of course, in Coventry. Another single-seater here. What is this? It's got some 70s, this thing. A Shadow DN9 1979. I've never heard of those before. Might as well here look at the Mercedes-Benz Club of Great Britain, and a very nice CLK. 2008 CLK 63 AMG Black Series, although this car's silver. C209 shape. The only CLK I've ever driven actually is the previous shape, which was the was an A208 actually, on no budget reviews, which I don't think this car's going to really fit into somehow. Then we have the Mercedes 600 here. These were made, I think, from the early 60s until the early 80s, mainly for people like world leaders. Very lovely sort of shade of brown, which then matches the nodding dog and also the interior. Car of Kofi Annan. Crazy. 1970. It's not disturbed with flags, we might get shot if we do that. Let's go back to start to get it into shot. We've got something of similar sort of era of design, Mercedes. 64 W112 300 SE Coupe. That's a really, really nice looking car. Beautiful. Then we've got something modified here. It'll be the R129 shape of the SL.
You have a look inside there.
This is a 1998, so it's a facelift one. And it's just an SL320, but it does look rather different from standard. Hello to R129_PIP on Instagram. Of course, the one that seems attracting most attention of all is this beautiful SL. This is a 190 SL W121 shape from 1961. I wonder if this or a pagoda is actually more attractive to most people. I think these are more valuable than the pagodas, actually. Certainly at the time they were incredibly expensive. And last couple on the stand, we've got this one here we can't talk about, and then a 280 CE. This television show I remember these most from is the revival of Randolph Walker Deceased, which was broadcast in 2000-2001 with Reeves and Mortimer. As an ardent fan of the old 1960s ITC series, that was not as good at all as the original with Mike Pratt and Kenneth Cope. Car's very nice though. Let's have a look at some, I presume this is GT40 replicas, although I'm not really allowed to say that, am I? Various kits you can get for the GT40. This is a Southern GT40 Mark 1. I mean, they're massively expensive anyway, even if they're not the originals, which are worth millions. So these aren't cheap cars or anything. It's just a cheaper way into owning something that looks a bit like a GT40. Although the level of detail in this is pretty crazy. So this is an RCR. Mark II wiper motors from the Boeing 707. Crazy. Then we've got another one here. They still look really very much like an original one. It's MDA from 2011. It'll do, won't it? And then we've got this one. Let's try not to get in the way of everybody, fall over things. See, everyone wants the Golf livery one, and this one I think is most certainly not going to be from the 60s. Not with a plate like that. Everybody wants for ones in this colour, don't they? We've got this one. I don't even know if I'd actually be able to fit in something like this, to be honest. Ooh. It's owned by a Lady Race Driver, this one. That one looks really, really close to the original. Some people put information plaques on their cars, some people don't. Yeah, it's a 2001 plate, so I think we're still in this sort of replica thing there, but what amazing replicas. Usually when you see the AC Cobras, they tend to be replicas as well, but I have a feeling that these are original. I'll look at the information sheets to be sure, but they certainly look to me like real snakes. Although this registration sequence is a bit suspicious to me. Let's have a look. Oh, it's not. I've been duped. It's a Hawk 289. I should know the FMAF sequence is generally applied to cars that have been sort of registered to look a bit older than they are, or something like that. The Shadow Jeep from the 1970s TV series UFO actually is on an FMA plate as well. Seen that a couple of times. This is another Hawk one. Very, very good replica actually. It's extremely good replica, this one. Everything is really, really close to one of the original ones. I have seen a couple of original ones, but most of the shows are like the Hawks. So 67 plate on this one. I wonder what variant this one is. It's a Hawk replica of an Ace. I've not seen this particular replica. I mean, it's a 67, and the Ace was only made in the 50s, I think, or the early 60s. So it's really not quite right. That's a very good one. And this is another Hawk. So they're all Hawks this time. Again, this is a 67 plate, but obviously a much newer car. It's quite impressive, really. So the Panther Car Club here. We've got a Panther Lima. This is the earlier type of this shape. The Calista was a bit later. Doesn't actually say this particular one sort of was. I recognise that gear from somewhere. I think it's because that's a Vauxhall part. This is the 2.3, so the Vauxhall Slant 4 in it, with overdrive, and a little friend down there. We've got a very big friend, but other friends over there as well. And this is, I think they call these a Panther de Ville. Yes, of course. This is from the 101 Dalmatians film. I think that was made about 2000 from memory. The doors are off, well, a Land Crab, or a Maxi, or a 3 litre. Of course they are. Panther J72 is one of the early Panther models. Jaguar bits in one of those. And we've got Castrol Panther Lima. I wonder what engine's in that. Is it a Slant 4 again? Yeah, I think so. Could be wrong. Yeah, if it's with Leidenstein on it, it's definitely a Vauxhall. Oh, I love these. This is the Panther Rio. The standard Rio was based on Dolomite 1850 HL. The Especial was based on the Sprint. This is an Especial. It's a really, really sort of good modification of the Dolomite. I mean, they're much, much, much more expensive than the Dolomite, but very nice. Very, very nice indeed. Even got custom wheels. Yeah, I mean, I'd have one of these. I've had a Dolomite myself. I'd have one of those. This one, on RSO 7607, a Panther Solo 2. I've never seen one of these, ever. I know, I've heard of these, I've never seen one. That is absolutely amazing. Solo Napoleon Man from Uncle. I think somehow someone's done a custom art job on that. There we go, we've got a Ford engine in this one. And I think those rear lights are off a Sierra or something like that. Wonderful. Gotta kill on this stand is. Right, let's have a look. This one here, a couple more. This one looks especially like a Calista, but I could be wrong. It's from a company owned by Sanyon. Yes, Sanyon. Vauxhall switchgear still on this one. I don't know, these personal plates are not particularly handy for somebody like me to identify them. Could be just a Lima again. This is a Calista though. I wonder what engine's actually in here. Realise actually the bodies were made in Korea and then shipped to Panther's factory at the time. It doesn't actually say what year that is. Never mind, we will continue then and go that way. Here we are at the Honda NSX Owners Club stand. Particularly nice one here, I love this colour. Judging by the registration number, this is an early one. It could be a later plate, sorry, an earlier plate on a later car. But 91, 92. When the NSX came out in this country, you could only get manual or an auto. The auto was the one available with power steering. The manual didn't have power steering. It's very nice. This one here is a little bit later, sort of 95, 96 on an N. I imagine this one's, is it also an automatic? This V6. I really want to have a go in an NSX actually here, so I'd really like to try one of these. Although I think the possibility of getting hold of one is a bit limited, maybe. So that's a later one here, personal plate on this one, so I don't know exactly what year it is. This is the colour that a lot of the press ones were. With all sorts of refinements, 6-speed gearbox, climate control. It's not a really late one because those didn't have headlamps, they were deemed as illegal after a while. That is rather nice. Let's have a look and see. It's 2001. Imola Orange. So it's been modified a little bit, but tastefully. Then we've got this sort of race prepared one here. A tribute to Ayrton Senna, who helped to develop the car, I believe. That is very nice. That's a manual. Little spinny NSXs on the little wheels. Got 3 little spinny NSXs going around there. Excellent. Well, I think that's quite enough for part 9 of the slightly shambolic shuffle around the 2023 NEC Classic Motor Show. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, comment below, and we shall see you again soon for more incorrect information.